How to knit the garter stitch tab cast on for triangular shawls, English style. For this tutorial, you will need a pair of knitting needles and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Webs for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Northampton yarn from their Valley Yarns line in the color Lake Heather. Now the garter stitch tab is a technique that's used to start many triangular shawls. And to begin, we're going to take a knitting needle and a little bit of our tail of yarn. Doesn't have to be too much because we're just going to cast on 3 stitches to begin. Now you can cast on more stitches. It will depend on your pattern, or if you're designing your own, the number of stitches that you cast on will determine the thickness of the garter stitch tab. But for this, we are just going to do 3. Okay, so now that we've cast on our 3, we'll grab our other knitting needle and we're just going to knit 6 rows here. What this will do is it'll give us about 3 ridges to work with once we start picking stitches up along the edge. So I'm just going to do these 6 rows pretty quickly. We've got 1, there's 2, and you can use any cast on to cast on your stitches that you prefer. I just used the long tail for this demonstration, but you could use a backwards loop or a knitted cast on, doesn't really matter. Alright, I believe that's 4. We'll do 2 more, and we should have 3 ridges on one side that we can work with. Okay, so there's 2 ridges on that side and looks like 3 here, but we're just going to knit 1 more row. Okay, and now we've got 3 ridges along the edge here. Okay, so next, this would be, let's say, step 3, since we haven't really been counting steps. We've got 3 stitches along the edge here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up stitches in these purl ridges that we've created. So to do that, I'm going to insert my working needle into this purl ridge stitch. Now you can use both needles if you want to kind of open that up, and then we're going to knit into the stitch to create a new stitch. Okay, so this is picking up the stitch, and we'll do that again for the next one into that purl ridge there. Okay, and once more. So this will give us 3 stitches along the side. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing into these beginning stitches. Now, this can be a little bit challenging because you don't have very well defined stitches here. So we're just going to kind of search. We can see there's actually 3 sort of bumps. We've got 1, 2, 3. These are the stitches that we want to be working into. So I'm going to insert my needle. That's actually the second half of that. We're going to go right in here and draw through. Okay, so I'm inserting my main needle into the stitch to pick it up, and then I'm working the stitch as if it were a normal stitch on my needle. Okay, and then we're just going to go through this last hole right here, like so. Alright, so now we can see we've got 9 stitches that we've picked up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's going to allow us to work. The outside edges will be in garter stitch for these 3 stitches here and these 3 stitches here. And then the center part is going to begin working the rest of our pattern. It'll fan out from the center and create our triangle going out. So the triangle will come like this from our work. So that's how we do the garter stitch tab cast on for triangular shawls. This technique is part of our Yarncraft Academy Shawl Knitting 101 class. For more information on this and all of our other classes, visit newstitchaday.com/classes.